The Hyundai Tucson was first shown in 2004 as the smaller and cheaper alternative to the Santa Fe. It used the platform of the Elantra. It offered a 2-liter 4-cylinder base engine, a 2.7-liter V6, and also the 2-liter diesel engine for some markets. All engines were more than reliable and durable. There were 5- and 6-speed manual transmissions as well as the very simple 4-speed conventional automatic transmission. In comparison with modern transmissions, all of them were almost eternal and had no serious problems. Interestingly, the Tucson offered keyless entry in some trims back in 2004, which was not that common for entry-level SUVs. This was one of the most reliable Hyundai vehicles ever made. In 2010, the company started selling the second generation of the Tucson. For a lot of markets, it also got a new name, Hyundai iX35. The design was significantly changed, but overall the vehicle remained the entry-level SUV with all the pros and cons of this status. They removed the V6 engine. Now different markets offered 1.6-liter GDI and 2.0-liter GDI direct injection engines. Also the simple 2.0-liter MPI was borrowed from the earlier generation. For top trims, Hyundai added the 2.4-liter MPI engine, very simple and extremely reliable, but not that good for fuel economy. Also, there were 1.7 and 2.0-liter diesel engines in Europe. Basically, only GDI engines caused issues with direct injection. Other than that, all engines were relatively good. 5- and 6-speed manual transmissions were still there. The old 4-speed automatic retired and the new 6-speed conventional automatic transmission was used. This one was significantly worse than the old one, but still the transmission could last approximately the same mileage as the engines it was used with. In 2015, Hyundai released the third generation of the Tucson. Now it was called Tucson all over the world again instead of the iX35. The company adjusted the style, but the design was criticized by many for being too simple and generic. Anyway, it didn't affect the sales much and the SUV kept on selling very well. In this generation, buyers felt that the Tucson wasn't the entry-level SUV anymore. It has better interior design and more technologies inside. Unfortunately, it all affected the reliability of the vehicle. Owners started spending more and more time in the dealership, while mechanics were trying to figure out the reasons for some strange warnings and errors. Among the engines, they kept the 1.6 GDI, 2-liter GDI and added the 1.6 Turbo GDI for more expensive trims. In some markets, the old 2.0-liter port injection engine was still offered. Also, the durable and good 2.4-liter MPI engine was still there, but some countries got the 2.4-liter GDI direct injection engine, which had significantly more problems after it hit 100,000 miles. Diesel engines were still the old good 1.7 and 2-liter options. Later, Hyundai introduced the new generation 1.6-liter Smart-Stream diesel engine, and it appeared to be pretty good. All petrol engines in this generation had one big problem. The catalytic converter was placed too close to the block. Once the converter started falling apart at a certain mileage, the ceramic dust could be sucked into the engine, and this would lead to engine death in a matter of days or weeks. The 6-speed manual and 6-speed automatic were still there, but later Hyundai added the less reliable 8-speed automatic transmission for diesel engines. Also, some engines used the 7-speed dual clutch transmission. This was the 1.6 turbo GDI and also diesel engines. If you can avoid buying the used Tucson with the 7-speed transmission, you should definitely do so. In 2020, Hyundai offered the 4th generation of the Tucson. The design was pretty controversial, but now after we have seen thousands of these cars on the road, it doesn't seem that inappropriate anymore. Overall, the SUV became more comfortable. It still has pretty cheap materials in its interior, but they look very decent. Hyundai dropped all older engines. Now it has a huge range of new SmartStream family engines. Also, Hyundai doesn't offer diesel engines anymore. It has 1.5 turbo, 1.6 turbo, 2-liter MPI and 2.5-liter GDI 4-cylinder engines. The 2.0-liter MPI seems to be the most durable, but other ones are much more fun to drive. Also, the Tucson offers several hybrid power plants, including full hybrid that you can't charge, and also plug-in hybrids with bigger battery packs that you can charge. The same engines are used in various hybrid powertrains. Also, there are 6 and 8-speed conventional automatic transmissions, then 6 and 7-speed DCT transmissions, and also 6-speed manual. The DCT transmissions look much less reliable than the other options. The new model sells very well, reaching about 500,000 sales a year worldwide now, which is an absolute record for the Tucson model in its entire history.